It's a beautiful day today in Texas.
Sure.
It's cloudy,
Nice,
and
very windy, nice wind blowing.
nice wind, not that crazy temperature, right?
No,
So I guess we have passed through that hotness that we used to have in
thank
Texas,
God.
right? Thank God for that. So we have a very amazing guest today with us, John.
Yeah.
So John, like introduce yourself, like
Okay. Well, I'm John David, my full name. Uh, I lived in America 48 year. Going to be 48th year this November. Oh,
nice,
October, next
nice,
month.
nice.
Um, so I went to school, University of Houston, got my degree in business and commerce, and then I became a CPA, worked for Shell Oil.
Chartered accountant professional.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I was more a internal management reporting guy for Shell Oil.
Shell,
Shell Oil. Yeah.
SHELL. And I guess Shell is one of the highest
They
market cap company.
are, well, depending on, I don't keep up that with that anymore. It used to be either ExxonMobil is one, Shell is two,
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah,
they
yeah,
will
yeah.
reverse based on.
Right. And
Well,
before these tech companies came in, these like power company used to be the market leaders, right?
yes, they were the global economic force that shaped everything because they were the only game in town.
Right.
Even though, like, company like Shell, they invested in some alternative energy, wind turbines, way back,
Nice.
but was just part of small piece of their business.
Okay. And when you joined Shell, it was a big then
Oh,
as
it's
well.
always a big. What I did, I had to. Well, I worked for what used to be Texaco. That used to be number three largest oil company in the U.S.
Okay.
But because of their mismanagement, they had to break it up and sold to half of it to Chevron, half of it went to Shell. So I ended up being the downstream guy, went to Shell Oil.
Got it.
So I worked in altogether. I worked 24 years.
In that company, 24 years in Shell.
Yes,
Oh, nice.
and retired, and I went back to school. Got my degree in counseling.
After retirement, after
Yeah,
getting oh,
when I was 61 or something, and I it was a 3 year program. I got my license in that professional LPC, licensed professional counselor. I did some work for a couple of years, then I called it quit. But basically, it allowed me perspective on myself, the world around me, how people think, how people relate.
right.
So I'm still a learner in that.
Nice.
I interact with people and come away with a sense of who they are, where they are, at a little deeper level than I used to know.
Nice.
So
We always learn, right? I mean,
yes,
it
always
never stops,
never
right?
stops. Yeah, I'm still a learner because I used to. I'm a pastor, also ordained pastor in a church, and I used to work as a pastor for a few years. That's also part of my counseling thing. I just want to connect with people, and then I do Hebrew and Greek.
You're learning that
Yeah,
oh,
partly because Bible is originally written
in Hebrew.
Hebrew and Old Testament in Hebrew and New Testament in Greek.
Oh,
So everything else is a bunch of translations. So I said I need to win because I need to know for myself if I'm true to be the profession that I am in. Might as well do something little. So I'm still learning every day.
nice.
So I'm a student, always learning.
Such an inspiration, John, coming from you, because you have seen a lot, right? At
Yes.
least, and as you said, like you have been here in this country for the last 48 years, right? And
Yeah.
then you like retired once, and then again you learned something new and joined a new profession, right? And then
Yeah.
again, you keep on transforming yourself, you
Yeah.
keep on challenging yourself with time,
Yes.
right?
Well, now I'm more physically active. I play pickleball, I play tennis, I played basketball with a bunch of young guys the
Yeah,
other day.
and I guess we played TT once or twice, right?
So it's about keeping life joyful,
Nice.
fun.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So, like, just a segue from this particular thing, like, do you enjoy this part of life when you are not attached to a professional world, or like you kind of miss that part
No,
sometimes?
I don't miss it, especially my personality don't call for yielding to other people. I still haven't learned how to be a good submissive person.
Got it.
The every corporate hierarchy requires that you go whatever their thing is, you fit within their frame, fit within their mold, and echo their opinion,
Culture, they call it,
culture,
right?
and I never could buy into it. Well, that's because I came from a different place. And business, unlike IT or medical profession, is very abstract. It's, I mean, oil is in the ground,
Right.
and we need people who can dig the well and get it out. But
Refine.
everything else is just there. But it's in the eyes of the beholder. If I'm
Right.
reporting something, I'm projecting saying we're going to make 2 billion. I could come short, I could come high. Then my job is to explain away, which I'm not part of that oil source.
Right.
So there's a lot of business as a different way, and I never fit in very well because I used to be a pharmacist in India, where if you give a medicine, if it's wrong, it's going to kill somebody.
Right.
You got
So
to be right.
stakes were so high over there, right? Right.
But when I came to business, I couldn't see that.
Responsibility, ownership,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and as you said, like being an accountant or something like higher up in the leadership, you are projecting something 2 billion, but you yourself is not a part of that source that would bring that revenue or whatever,
exactly.
right? And then you don't have like you might have a little control over the flow of
Yeah,
things,
yeah,
but you
yeah.
don't have you are not actually doing that to bring it up to that level which you have promised already, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Right.
So it's different. So, like, pharmacy is different from business, business is different from counseling. So, I went through a lot of this thing. And
But then you don't call it as a learning to try to fit in, right? I mean, you said like
I,
it's kind of like I guess you are a man of principle which you don't want to.
well, it could be part of my, like, you know, how Indian Asian heritage, we are
Right.
kind of stubborn.
Right. We don't want to like.
We think we probably have a chip on our shoulder. But I don't know. Then I also say, you got to be true to who you are. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I mean, I'm out of the company now for what, 17, 18 years. So I'm just trying to be myself, what my potential is, who am I, how I can be relevant. So for me, the retirement gave me a freedom to go on a journey of self-discovery and learning and insight. It's also a
Nice.
spiritual journey for me too, because I'm getting into the scriptures and
Nice.
delving into without. I don't take opinion of scholarly people.
Got it.
So
I mean, like find your own truth, right?
exactly,
And then I mean, yeah, as you said, like scholarly people have their own way of translating, as you said, or interpreting things. You want to go there and find it by your own, and then like as you say, if preach or
or
like
shape myself,
right,
and whatever preaching. And to me, I'm realizing it has to be not out of your knowledge; it's out of who you are. Experience. Can you experience what you're preaching?
right,
Do you have a buy into that?
right,
So if I'm asking other people to follow something, do I really know?
awesome.
Other than an academic understanding of it or something passed down to me from generations.
Right.
See what I'm
Awesome.
saying?
I mean, you need to live that first before you can tell other to like do
Exactly.
that. I have a very like small story. My father used to tell me, you know, like there was a Ramakrishna Paramhansi, and one lady came to him and he said that my little boy, he eats sweets a lot. So can you just ask him not to eat the sweet a lot? So what he said, okay, come tomorrow. So the lady came the next day. Then Ram Chinsu Paramhansi, he said to the boy, hey, don't eat sweets, and then go. Then the lady was asking like, you could have done it yesterday itself, right? Then he said that, you know, I eat sweet a lot, so I had to stop for a day to tell him that don't eat sweet. So something like that, right? Right, before
Yeah,
you
you're
tell
right.
that, right?
Exactly. I mean, also, our culture tells that if you have an education,
Right,
you're up here.
right,
If you don't have it, you're down here.
right,
Uh, but now I'm realizing you could be a PhD in a field, but as the specialization become more focused, you are disconnected from rest of the world.
right,
I
right,
mean, you're on top of that
right,
little one pinnacle, but
right.
then there is so much going on in the world.
And that too, even your own pinnacle, things are changing drastically today,
Yeah.
right?
So you're struggling to stay on top of this
Right,
pinnacle, but then you're missing the social changes,
right,
the cultural changes, the people who are different. Now we live in different culture, and this culture is changing and going in all different directions. But I'm sitting on top, making my money, and retired, and everybody think you know a lot. So after living out this life, I'm realizing it's in the eyes of the beholder.
awesome, awesome way to put it to it, right? Nice. So, John, just one question. You said you came to US 48 years back. So, how was the US then when you came? Is it? I mean, it must be totally different what we see today.
It's different. Uh,
Which year that was when you?
about 1975 October.
1975. Okay.
Well, as we were before we started the conversation, I said, I mean, it all depends on who you are. Like you know, you are saying, should I go back,
Yeah.
kind of back to my roots
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
Well, for me, coming to America was an escape from poverty, a life of destitution. That's a long story.
And how did you decide over there that you have to come to US? Did you
I
have some
knew
reference?
I need to get out of India.
Uh,
I'm not going to make it anywhere if I stayed there.
okay.
I had a job, but then the income. I mean, I'm looking at a miserable life,
Got it.
all ahead of me,
Got it.
and also like in India, of course, it's pretty prevalent that when you are in your 20s and 30s, you're always looking for
Opportunities.
opportunities to improve yourself.
Right.
For me, it was like I had enough of this life,
Okay.
poverty. I'm tired of this,
Okay.
living paycheck to paycheck.
And how did you get a chance to come here?
Well, because I was a pharmacist, they were allowing people to migrate.
Oh,
Doctors, nurses, pharmacists, dietitians.
and that's through your company that you're working on
No,
over
no,
there?
it's
No.
just based on my profession.
Oh,
I had a pharmacy license. I was
nice.
practicing pharmacy in Christian Medical College, Ludhiana, in North Punjab. So I went to school, I went to work there.
And you needed to apply
I
somewhere
just went to the embassy, filed. 6 weeks later, bingo, your green card is there.
like that. You get
Go
a
to
green card and then come to
go
US,
to
something like that.
America,
Oh my
live your
God.
life.
Oh my God. And now, I mean, if we see from the perspective of our generation and who are in this like H1B mess, we know
Yeah,
like we are waiting for this green card and how much time we don't know, maybe 70 years, 80 years when we'll
the
get, we don't know.
process
Yeah.
and always changing depending on who is in the government.
Right, right, right.
Democrat versus
Right.
Republican. Do
Lot
we
of
give
things.
H1 or not?
Exactly.
So it's a lot of today's professionals. While they're good, do good, they also face a lot of anxiety
True. That
to
is what.
plan their life.
That is
For
what.
me,
Lot of things. Lot of
no.
uncertainty.
And also, America was more not so. Now the change is so fast.
Oh.
In those days, it was more. settle down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like sit back, relax.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, there's always you always had to work hard. I mean, I used to work when I finished my degree. I had to work all the way because I had to send support to my family in India
nice.
because they were depending on me.
Right.
So I work full time, but also go to school full time. So it's not like
That easy or a relaxing.
no,
You have
but
to work hard, but you have your means to, you know.
here you are. I go to work, then I make some money, then I go to school. So I'm fulfilling this because I didn't go to college in India because my parents couldn't afford to send me. I mean, we were just
Right.
trying to have 3 meals, or at least a meal a day. So that was our struggle. So college was like, what?
Luxury. Why? I mean, come on.
Only for rich dudes.
Yes.
But anyway, my point is, so when I came, I was busy thinking and planning, and so I went to without much delay. I came to New York first, and the schools were very expensive there.
Okay.
So my sister was in Texas, so I came down.
Oh,
Turned out, compared to New York, Texas schools are
a little bit
more affordable.
affordable.
And in those days, if you have $400, you can pay the tuition and buy your books for a semester, as opposed to when my son, my 2 daughters, I was spending, I don't know, 20 grand for one and 16 for another one. I don't know if it's per semester. I don't remember that anymore. The memory is getting fuzzy. So
No.
in that, it was affordable, and I took advantage of that. I went to school. I finished my degree in almost. I changed majors because I didn't know. It was not about what am I good at. It was about how can I survive.
Right.
So accounting was like, what? Accounting? What is it? Let me try it.
Right.
So it was not because I'm good at something. My goal at that point is to make it through.
Nice. One more thing, John, like when you have worked so many years in this corporate world, and then when is the time, and or I may put in a way that what was your thing that if I achieve this many things, I'll kind of quit, or I'll kind of say that I'll retire. Did you have any kind of a wish list or some checklist that you said, okay,
Well, part of the reason I worked for this, tried to work, well, I got the job was getting hard. Back in 81, oil prices went down to like $10 a barrel.
so that was a recession or something?
It was depression. Especially Houston was more
Oil dependent.
one game city. Oil was the game. There was nothing else. When oil went down, everything went down. Real estate went down. Engineers lost their jobs left and right. See, today's IT people were more tantamount to engineers. There were
Right.
so many engineers coming from India. And many of them lost their jobs. They had to find other professions. So it was a hard year to find a job. But then
You could.
I had to think how do I get in? And anyway, one of the things that I learned that working for major oil companies, they offer you a nice pension.
Okay.
So if you work X number of years, for example, 80 points, that is your age and service. If you have 80 points, you're eligible for retirement, a pension, a health insurance. So,
So 80 points, like let's say if you are a 40 years old and if you have spent 40 years, then you will get 80 points.
no. Yeah, your service place age. Say I started when I was 30.
Okay.
Then I worked 20 years,
Huh. 50.
50. That's okay. So 80 points is, so I need to work 40, yeah, you're right. Age plus service.
Okay. So if you do 80 points, then you will get a
You are
very.
eligible for major oil companies give insurance, health insurance, pension, or you can take money upfront.
Got it. Got it.
So that was my thing.
That.
Working was, I'm not ambitious professionally because, like I said, and when I started working for Shell oil companies, Indians were very rare. It was more white-dominated society,
Right.
and
And in 70s, do they have segregation?
they didn't have segregation, but white. It's. I would say I'm using the word whites because if I'm a different ethnic group, I will do the same.
Yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
I'm controlling the agenda, I will do the same what they did.
Makes sense.
So I wouldn't.
I
It's
mean,
not a
it's
negative.
not. It's not. We are
Yeah.
like judging or like
No,
doing
but I'm
passing any
saying in
statement.
those days, discrimination was prevalent in these corporations, and if you are not able to culturally integrate into that inner loops,
Makes sense.
you're always an outsider. And getting into the inner loops, you got to party, you got to go happy hours,
Right.
you got to go for things, you got to go out for golfing.
So you are always kind of catching up to that
I
thing.
didn't realize all that.
Oh.
I'm always an outsider.
And you didn't try as well.
I said, well,
You tried, but not that hard.
I didn't try, to be honest with you. I'm like, what's wrong with this picture? And then I didn't want to accuse them. For example, there was
Get it.
when I worked for Texaco, there was this minorities brought a lawsuit against Texaco. Texaco was one of the worst in this thing, and they had to settle for a $110 million out-of-court settlement with the employees. And little did I know, I'm part of it. I got a little raise one day, and they said, "Oh, this is part of the settlement." So minorities were. So it's on the record. I'm not just saying that. You know,
Yeah.
it was discrimination. The
It
court
wasn't.
or somebody
Yeah. They did that settlement saying that. Okay,
settlement
yeah.
saying there was rampant
Something. Yeah.
discrimination, and that happened all through. And I didn't know how to get into that game.
Got it.
Because culturally I was never well, we as ethnic groups, we go to work Monday through Friday, and then we go back to our community, go back to our church, we go back to our restaurants, we go back to our thing. So we never bridge that gap. But if you are a skilled person, that you are they want your skills, then they will cater to you. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you bring this
Something on the table.
something on the table. They say we can make money. It's an idea.
Right.
It's a pattern.
Whatever it is,
It's
yeah.
a skill. Like now AI guys, I
Right,
heard
right.
they are making $900,000 a
Right.
year. So that would have been good. If I'm an engineer, I can develop something. They will come after me.
But like in an orthodox economy wherein like most of the things are based on, let's say, crude oil or something like
Yeah.
that.
Naturally, it's
yeah.
extracted out of the ground.
Right. There are very less things that where you can, innovate. The culture that we have today, like everybody's trying to do or trying to try something new. Like regenerative AI, robotics, something.
No.
I guess that time things were
No, it's
totally
not
different,
that
right?
way.
Everything is orthodox.
IBM was the big,
Yeah.
IBM, Hewlett Packard.
HP, yeah.
I forgot a bunch of other companies. They're not even in name anymore. IT companies.
I know.
So it was big frame world.
Yeah.
Whoever owned the big frame, IBM was the name of the game.
Mainframe.
Yeah. So those were the days.
Right.
And so IT was more stagnant.
75 is the year. Which year we have Apollo 11?
That was 69 or something like that.
John F. Kennedy was there in.
No, he died in 62.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
It came after him.
Got it. I mean, he
He
proposed.
was the man who
Proposed the idea
yeah,
man
so-
should go to moon.
yeah. So space was going on.
And I guess that time Cold War was at its peak. 70s.
Cold War was broken toward in the late 80s when Reagan was the president. So Jimmy Carter was the president, and it turned out to be the Iran conflict, and the embassy staff was held hostage for
That movie Argo based on that.
all that, and we tried to rescue them, but our plane got lost in the desert, and so politically America was in a little difficult place. And then Reagan came in 80, and then it took another 2 years to get out of even the whole recession and the whole thing.
Nice.
And in his second term, that's when he engaged Gorbachev, and
Russia and like yeah,
yeah, and they were
Mikhail
more
Gorbachev.
open to the open society and stuff like that. And that's when the Cold War came to an ending,
Got
and
it.
Soviet Union allowed their satellite nations to be free.
Free.
Hungary,
Yep. Yeah, yeah.
Czechoslovakia,
Lot of nations have
Rum-
many Uzbekistan,
yeah,
Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, lot of
East
things. And
Germany,
yeah,
Berlin
Berlin
Wall,
Wall came down.
Berlin Wall came down. So
Yeah,
it was all happened in the 80s, late 80s.
nice.
So, but yeah, like I said, so I didn't. So my goal was to do my do my thing, reach a goal, personal goal, and be done. And so,
So you already had that goal that I mean
yes,
this is what I want, and then after that I'll not just do and then
yeah.
like be in the game and then into the rat race. I'll just see it from the outside, something like
But
that.
it's always it's a never-ending game. You're always if I'm in an assignment for 3 4 years, I need to find something different. If I'm not finding it, I'm considered a stagnant, not going anywhere guy. I'll be labeled. So I'm always constantly networking, constantly trying to reach out and connected. Hey, dude, hey, what are you doing? Let's go play golf. I mean, hey, I'm barely, I mean, even though I'm in a working corporate environment, raising kids and taking care of families and trying to, also my wife went to school in the 90s too. So then, so it was a lot of things that we had to focus how to build our life. It didn't allow a lot of room for me to hang around and play around. But Americans always intermingle play with life. That's a philosophy.
So you like it as a philosophy? What are
No,
your take?
I see families being broken. I had a guy who was a manager in his early 40s, a senior manager, and what he does is he liked to watch Chicago White Sox play. So what he does is he will organize a meeting in Chicago coinciding with that game.
Go there and
So
have
this dude will go there for a business meeting at the company's expense, watch
the
Chicago
game.
White Sox play. He did that all around, and then they go for Cajun thingies, beer boiling. But then he was not paying attention to his wife, and she said, "I'm done with you." In his 40s. So yeah, that's a downside of it.
Got it.
But for me, this is my family is my world.
Got it.
Yeah, I can have friendships,
Right.
but my family, my children, that they're my primary. So that's probably ingrained in our mind and our
In
brain
culture.
as a part of our cultural
Yep.
upbringing.
Yep.
So for me, I couldn't take this lightly, and I had to build it up. You know, not like Americans have a lot of, I mean, relatives. They have inherited wealth because they've been here for generations.
Right.
But first generation people like me, we come from extreme poverty and there's nothing to lean back on there. So we got to create our own place. So
Nice.
I'm busy building my life here, and I'm not going to play around. I should have played around. I should have known that better. Had I had my counseling degree 30 years ago, probably I would have seen. See, counseling allowed me to see other people from their vantage point. A counselor don't solve a problem by saying, "Ah, this is what you need." No, I want to see what do you think. I want to see what you experience. But I was like Americans would say, day late and dollar short. You know, if I knew what I knew in that, I would have been doing much better. Human relationship was my thing.
Awesome.
Growing up, I never connected with because my family moved around from places to
Right.
places. We
Right.
didn't have any our place of our own, so I never, I went to 11 schools. to finish
My
10 classes.
My goodness. So actually, you didn't have, that roots or like
No, I never had
a specific set of friends or specific set of like neighbors that,
yeah,
you build that relation and have that thing.
no, I
Yeah.
never had that. So that, I practically didn't have a childhood. Always looking for next me, always feeling inferior, always feeling, you know how in
Yeah.
our place, if you are not something, they look down on you.
Right, right.
And I've been looked down pretty hard for a long time. And that's a part of the reason I knew I'm emotionally not healthy. And that's why I want to go to counseling. If I go to
Nice.
a counselor, he will charge me $100 for one session, but going to school 3 years for $20,000, I'm getting a lot of counseling.
Awesome. So that would bring my next question. Like you were in oil company for let's say 24 years, you said,
Yeah.
and then you said like I'll quit it and I'll go and study counseling.
I didn't plan it that way. Once I retired, I was confused.
So what was your age that time when you?
I was 57.
Okay.
I want to retire in my 50s. So that was done.
Okay.
But then once I retired, I'm like, what am I going to do with my life? I'm not used to it. I started working when I was what, 18 or something. So that's the only thing I knew. So it was a period of adjustment that I had to go through. So what I did after a few months, I found another job, worked for another company. Then I didn't like them at all. I have conflicts with them. Guy, he's trying to run over my life. I told him to get lost. I was an Indian dude, by the way. And he was trying to boss, a typical Indian guy trying to run over my life. I said, get lost, buddy. You ain't doing that to me.
I have been through that. I know. So come on.
You work for a
Yeah.
petty little company, and I've been in with a giant. Don't tell me you're going to tell me what to do. Anyway, besides the point,
Yeah.
my point is, so I went back. I did that for 6 months. Then I said, what do I do with my life? And I kind of said, okay, maybe I can help others. So that's maybe I can. Now I'm here, helping people who are going through something.
Nice.
Depression, anxiety, whatever. But that was my goal. So that's when I said, okay, it's not about me anymore. Maybe I can do some good to something.
Give back to the society. Something like that.
Society, give it back,
Right.
contribution,
Right.
life. So
And did that decision has to do anything with that? The way that you said that you were emotionally kind of unavailable
well,
sometime in
I kind of knew once I retired, I went through this reflection of
introspection.
what could have
reflection.
been, what should have been. Then I came upon this idea where I was culturally not integrated. I was not people savvy.
Nice.
I was very raw in my response to others.
Nice.
I was just seeing myself, seeing things through my perspective.
Nice.
So I said, I'm missing something as a person. And then I went to this addiction counseling program where this lady knew some yoga and stuff like that. Then we do some class exercise, chakras and in our body.
Yeah.
People, I'm not into that, but
Yeah.
and she's a white lady, and she said, "John, you got a lot of anger issues," which was true. I was
Okay.
very, what you call, aggressive. See, you had to be assertive, but I was more passive aggressive. Either I'm here
Or not there.
or I'm here.
And that's why you keep mentioning that you're not a people person.
Yeah.
Because of that. Because I mean, when you have those strong opinions and you don't want to hold it back, it'll come in a way that can maybe offend or not.
Also, there is some residing anger, maybe because of what I lived through. Maybe my anger
Right.
was to my father.
Right.
Why did he do that to me? But you don't take your anger on your father.
Right.
Freud calls it displacement theory, because if I go with my boss and he rebuke me. Then I come home. Rather than saying anything to him, I come and abuse my wife or beat up on the dog.
That's
So my it's misdirected. So if I'm talking, my voice goes up. I become very argumentative. I become very aggressive. Or otherwise, I'm like, okay, let me do my job. Leave me alone. So I was never in the middle. And then later I learned assertiveness meaning you're firm on your opinion and outlook, but then you are communicating in a way that's not offensive to others.
nice.
So
Then you changed your thing.
it's still an ongoing process.
Nice, nice.
Because if you accumulated a habit over your lifetime, you just don't erase that off in a
Of
day.
course, of course, of course.
But you work on it.
And
Say today I go and evaluate my little discussion and say, well, I don't stick to that anymore. I mean, you cannot be something you're not. So if I'm projecting to you something I'm not, you're not getting in touch with me. You're getting in touch with a little metaphor I created for you.
so, like, as you said, right? I mean, I can correlate to that in a way that you're saying that even if I don't like a person, my expression or my thing would definitely tell or portray that thing that I'm not in a space where I'm happy. So that will come in my face, and that is very visible to me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I've seen folks who can control that, and and that won't be that much visible on their face, but
Yes.
it's inside them, that they can keep it inside them. But as you said, like, there are many
Basically managing your
Right,
emotions
right.
in a way which it will not be counterproductive.
Right.
Or it could be, you can get something done even in an adverse situation, a person who is not really you like or anything,
Right.
but you are forced into the situation, you got to live with it, whether it's your spouse, it's your coworker,
Right.
whether it's your relationship.
Right.
So if you, number one, see where they come from, why they say,
Try to. So that's what, like, we keep on talking about this in our conflict resolution as a, like, Indian
Yes.
manager and all these things. You always try to see their perspective, that why they are behaving like that, and try to be in their shoes and try to understand, like, okay,
if I were him,
in that situation, what I would have done. Right. Or
basically that's called subjective thinking. I'm putting myself in your place.
right. But then again, you said one more thing, that you cannot change what you are. So
No.
so, like,
You don't have to.
no, but then as you are working on something, let's say you found out that, okay, the way maybe I am putting my words, I could be more gentle. I could polish around that. So, but then again, you are kind of hiding yourself, that this
No,
is not
no. Basically, so for example, I would come and if I'm aggressive, I would say, "You're wrong. You are wrong." But if I'm more pull back and say, "I think you're wrong," there's a room for negotiation. See, it's my thinking,
you. Got it.
which is true.
Got it.
I mean,
Which is true for your thought. I mean,
yeah, but if I think I'm wrong,
Right.
you could prove otherwise.
makes sense.
I'm not being somebody else.
Makes sense.
I'm being myself.
Makes sense.
But I reframe that expression and contact.
And more than that, John, I guess it's more of accepting the fact that there could be a possibility that
Yes.
a room of negotiation, as you said it correctly,
Exactly.
right? I mean, I cannot be.
When
it
I
cannot
say
be
you're wrong, I'm just completely
exactly.
throwing you out.
out. It's like
Then
black and white, but then
There's nothing black and white about life.
Exactly. So that acceptability has to come to you, that nothing is so straightforward.
Yes.
You have to have a room of negotiation everywhere, even if you are thinking you are certain, but that's not the case. It's not-
Unless it's a scientific fact
it's
that
a day that today it's a day.
light travels at a certain speed,
Right.
velocity,
Right.
which you cannot, that's a universal truth.
Makes sense.
But in terms of human relationship, in terms of even the scientific realities over time, what used to be in the old scientific thought, atom was the basic element.
Right.
But as the as the knowledge improved,
Neutron,
electron, neutron,
electron.
proton, now it's nanomolecules. So even that changed over course
Of
of
time,
time.
with knowledge,
But
with
at least some established fact is
fact.
there. Other
Makes
than
sense.
that, especially like a family relationship, you could tell your wife you're wrong. That put her in a very awkward place. It's going to discourage her from saying anything else to you anymore.
Nice,
She may withhold and say, "Oh, this dude is going to get mad at me." So she will never be herself to you. So you're losing her as a person.
nice, right.
She'll put on a face, a facade. Oh,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
so, but when I allow them to challenge me, and of course, allowing others to challenge me, meaning I gotta have my own ground of standing. If I'm wishy-washy, then my negotiation don't mean anything.
Nice, nice,
I'm being true to myself, but I'm allowing you to tell me otherwise.
nice, nice. Good.
So
So like you have kind of two innings. One innings with that oil company, and second innings with kind of counseling thing. So which one did you like?
well, if
I mean, one got you money, I guess.
one got me my little pension and leave my life now and allow me to build up my life. But if I also, now that I'm realizing, if I always thought about going to MBA, then I said, I'm not into it. But on the other hand, if I did like industrial psychology, I would have flourished a lot more and I would have been more comfortable. So I never found out my element of who I am. If I knew it, well, a lot of, let me say this also. See, there is, when you grow up, when you're born, Freud said in the first 6 years, your future is decided.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, how? Like,
Basically, it's called attachment. Attachment versus abandonment. Attachment meaning there is different kind of attachment to your parents, your mom and dad. Secure attachment meaning as you go through stages of life, you're validated, your viewpoints are more relevant. Then you get a confidence to now what you've done in your little family, you can extend it to your classmates. Then you build it up upon that. And
nice,
then you go into co-workers. But if
nice,
you're insecure attachment, then you're always antsy, you're always skeptical.
nice,
You never build confidence.
nice.
And also, on the other hand,
I mean, such a nice way to put it. You see, like, and we keep on pressing that in a different way. That family is your first school, and this is the way that I guess Freud has put into way
yeah,
that whatever you do in these things, this is kind of an experiment that you keep on elaborating and like
building up.
expanding, and that's the base.
Yeah, one step you build enough confidence with your parents. Now you have bigger base, your classmates, your
Right.
friends. Now you are in your co-workers.
Nice,
Then you have your family,
nice, nice.
extended family.
So it's more like from one cell to a whole organism, but then it's dividing and taking the whole characteristic that they had.
That's right. So if you feel abandoned, you're never going to have stable relationship.
Nice theory.
But if you were insecure, you're always going to kind of do a little gimmicky thingy,
Right.
play little games around.
Right.
You try to push the envelope
Right.
furthermore to see how far it can go,
Right.
rather than understanding with confidence. People who are achievers and accomplishers, large corporation managers or CEOs or whatever, they at some point either they overcame this thing or they had secure attachment. For generations they were doing this. You see, like in our culture, children of doctors become doctors, and they build on that.
Yeah.
They get the confidence. See what I'm saying?
Nice.
So
No, I really, I mean, this theory, I really like one thing about it because, as you said, like secure attachment and everything.
secure and secure attachment.
Attachments. And I've seen like in India specifically, there are folks who has come from very like downtrodden family and then achieved big things in life. And let's say one thing is pretty thing like they become good officers, IAS, IPS. And I always feel there's like, it's my internal theory that if you have those like destitute childhood or something like that, and somehow you feel that I have achieved something, those IPS, IAS, and then you start corrupting those institutions, your aim become totally different. And now if I like putting your theory in that perspective, I'm thinking that if you have those secure attachments and like, then life is not just, go there and then grab everything that comes your way.
Yeah, because that is, if I may interrupt, this dude growing up, like in our culture, when you're poor, you're looked down.
Exactly.
So he's saying, I'm going to show them.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I got to prove myself.
Yeah.
He worked hard.
Right.
It could be 1 out of 100, 1 out of 1,000. Yet, this is the mindset. Once I get there, then he's saying, how come that dude is doing more? Okay, now I'm going to do. See, all that insecurity. Also, secure sense of who I am bring contentment.
Right.
Contentment means I'm happy of who I am.
Right.
And it's also
that's like that you're not insecure. You're not bothered about the judgment who would
what others I'm not
thinking of about.
Yeah, when I'm insecure, I'm always
looking for validation.
Yeah. And you tell me how good I am, or I'm going to show you how good I am.
Right.
But if I'm content, I don't have to show nothing.
Right.
And also, I have an external perspective of the world around me.
Right.
So I go better, then I also want to make others better.
Right.
So I want to live in this world of happiness. See, you cannot exist in a secure environment all by yourself. When you're surrounded by so much turbulence. So what you try to do, you say, I'm going to build a society, a network, or an infrastructure that supports.
Just to comment on this particular thing that we're talking about, I have just like Mahatma Gandhi, like Subhash Chandra Bose. So there are folks like Motilal Nehru. They had everything in their life. Like they were rich, they were established, but then they took a decision that okay, I'm gonna go and give back. And that's like Martin Luther King Jr., right?
Yeah.
So they were like one of the prominent figures at that time. They left everything and then took this path. So, give back to the society. If it would have mattered only to them, they had nothing to lose, right? But then they said, okay, now because they were content people and they didn't have anything to prove to the world, they took that step and then they were like greats, right?
Yeah, also they're creating a version of who they are outside of them.
Right. And then, as you said, expanding that horizon.
Expanding that horizon. Also, you got to, even from a selfish perspective, if all I do is enrich myself, we are one among, 8 billion people?
Right.
One day I die, I'm gone.
There's no legacy. There's
no legacy, because while you are alive, it's all about enriching you.
True.
But what are you going to do with all the money?
Nice.
See, people don't think about that.
Right.
Because there is a sense of satisfaction of feeling good and feeling, I got all the money, I'm good. See, there is a sense of, I'm not discounting that.
Right.
But then Bill Gates and Buffett's of the world are saying...
They left Harvard, say, okay, I don't need this kind of education.
Now they are saying, I got 50 billion, I'm going to give it away.
Yeah, Bill Gates. That's what, right, yeah.
See, that's why...
They're creating the legacy.
That culture, I don't know if I'm making a true statement. India, you have billionaires.
Right.
But you don't see them going out and doing that. Yeah. I'm going to give my 50 billion.
Yeah. I guess Ajim Premji has done something like
Very
that.
Few people.
Yeah.
They probably learned it from guys. They have a global outlook.
Right.
Only people with a global outlook could do that.
Yeah. I mean, that's what, right? You keep on learning, and if you are in a shell, how much you can learn until and unless you expand your horizon, you go and see things. I guess, and that's one very important thing that you said, like global horizon, because like whatever example that I was giving, like Mahatma Gandhi, like he was in South Africa. He said that, okay, I did this, whatever segregation movement here, I can took this thing to India, and then I can do that, right? So like they had those outlook, whosoever, like Subhash Chandra Bose, he came here, he gave IS exam and all those stuff, right? I mean, are like Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar. He came here, he studied Columbia, and then like he knew that, okay, he studied all the constitution, American Constitution, British Constitution, and then okay, he wrote our Constitution. So you have to have those kind of like an outlook, global outlook, where you can pick the best thing.
Also, when see most people, because of their struggles in their life, one way or the other, they are not pursuing their passion or who they are. But when you're secure, your worldview is, I see injustice there. My passion is, there's a passion that drives me. Say you are good at music. What is the most people who are in India will say? Don't quit your day job. Because you're not going to make a you're not going to make a living.
But that is true as well, right?
It is true, yet. But if that's your passion, your career comes secondary to you. If this is driving, see, a lot of people, their career is their driving force. But for others, arts.
I get you, John, but just one thing I would just to comment here. I mean, I want to understand from your perspective as well. As you said, like, you know, like your childhood, you were like, you wanted to do something, you knew that there's nothing like in front of me, right? So like folks in that environment where there is a struggle to put bread on their plate,
Yeah.
so they can't think about passion or music. Even if I'm very good about that, the first thing that would come to my mind is like having bread in my plate. So what do you think about that? Like,
Well, see, like I said, the present life that I have, I mean, it's after a lot of evaluation, of self-evaluation. But also, I am pursuing some of the things that were my passions buried deep inside
makes
down
sense.
me when I was struggling.
Makes sense.
So I never gave up on my
Makes sense.
passions.
Makes sense.
And I'm 73, but I just don't want to do this right now. But I have a very bigger vision of what I want to. I don't know if it will ever get done, but I'm in the visioneering process,
Nice.
which I should have done 30 years ago.
Nice. No,
But
it's never too late, right?
never too late.
Right.
And if I don't accomplish it, hopefully I can hand over to somebody. So I never gave up my passion, even though it was buried, like it was like down here. I had worked my way through. You see, Maslow, this George Maslow guy, this is an example used in business quite a bit. You can look it up on Google.
I know that pyramid.
It's a pyramid of
Yeah,
hierarchy of needs.
I have heard that. First, like basic, basic is like
Basic,
then safety, then
and
psychological, physical.
Yeah, belonging, and then
Maslow's pyramid.
like sayujyam, or much very
Right. At the top, it's like your. I mean, you need to do something.
fulfilling who you are. Let me see.
What is it called?
You can look it up.
No. So I have this book, Managing Unmanageable. So this is my favorite example, which I give. Like people ask how to keep people motivated, and they say that Maslow's pyramid actualization, actualization, wherein you should have a work which can motivate you. And you are learning something, and you are showing that you are a part of something, not just like that's what people like. That's the reason of deepest people are not motivated to work because they don't have anything to learn.
Yeah.
They're not showing anything like that. So yeah, I love that thing, Maslow's pyramid. Yeah.
Yeah, here it is.
Yeah, exactly. This is
So
what
so you meet the first level.
self-actualization. Yeah, that's what I was
Then you go to the second one, self-actualization.
That's what I was saying.
Then you go to the second one. Then you go to the third one.
Right.
But also, I'll also add that, like the sense of your sense of how secure you are also play into this. Maslow don't bring that in.
Right.
I bring that from Freud and married to this because that passion, at some point, you cannot never ignore the passion.
Right.
See, there is this dude, he's an IPS guy. He was in police in Kerala state. He's IPS, then he became our senior manager for the state transport. He
Okay.
tried to bring in reformation, but with all the red tape, he couldn't do anything.
Okay.
Now he's retiring, and guess what? His dream and vision has about music.
Nice.
Even now, he produced so many videos and CDs. Now he's saying, I'm going full-fledged.
Nice.
So when you live out your passion, that's when you feel, I'm good now.
Nice.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Makes sense.
Otherwise,
No, I get that thing. As you said, right? As I was telling you that you should put bread on your
Yeah.
table. That's for sure. But then don't let that passion die.
let it not die.
Yeah.
Because if
There will be time when you would need that to bring that up from that bottom and to the top.
to be who you are,
Yeah, yeah.
that self-actualization
Yeah.
place of,
Right.
oh, I'm happy now.
Nice.
So otherwise you could work so hard to build all this wealth or relationship. When you get there, you're missing something.
Yeah, kind of a hollow thing.
They're always chasing. The people are
rat
running
race.
around. Oh, they're trying to connect. They're trying to be something. They're trying to tell others how great I am.
Nice.
Or make me the head of our little council, residents association. Hey, I'll give you $1 million. Make me the head of. You know why? They don't know what their passion is. And lots of people are in that way. They're going around trying to
Right.
get validation even when they have millions of dollars in their account
Right.
because they never. Also, there is this thing called you can be rich and be poor.
Yeah.
Being rich is a state of mind. It's not about anything. It's not about money. It's not about wealth. You can be rich in so many attributes. Money is only a piece of it. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But culture tells you, you got money, you're a happy person, blah, 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 blah. Which is, even Maslow has a wheel of attributes that make you who you are. Healthy who you are. Money is just part of it.
Right.
So
You should feel rich, right? I mean,
every day you're getting up and saying, even if it's not there, I can. There's also this theory where I can visualize it.
Yeah.
If this is
I
my
know,
if this is my struggle, I visualize I'm getting better. I visualize I prosper.
yeah, there's a book, I guess it's like The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there it talks about you need to manifest it and you need to keep on visualizing that what the future going to be, and that way, and as per the
You're motivated,
author, and you're telling the
focused.
world, yeah, that's going to happen, and you are making it happen somehow. That's your way to making it happen.
But don't bury your passion.
Keep the fire burning.
Yeah, because that's just only one aspect. Well, basically, now, to be honest with you, working for a corporation, getting my wife through an education, getting her a job, allow us to be in a place where we can look at things differently
Right.
with a peace of mind.
Right.
My children, I have 6 grandchildren, 2 daughters, and they had 6 kids between 2 of them. And if I'm miserable about their life, my passion doesn't mean a whole lot.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's just like when you try to climb the mountaintop, there are steps you need to accomplish.
Right.
A lot of people, yeah, you're right. There are a lot of people who just chase their passion without taking care of their family,
Exactly.
their children.
Right.
End of the day, you are now on top of this mountain, but
Right.
you left your wife, your children, your friends, your family unfulfilled, and struggling
Right.
to connect, to relate. But you're sitting here and, oh, I'm here, man. I'm good. See, so that doesn't do anything for you.
Right.
If you are a total person,
Right.
if you have the understanding of what wealth is, You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So passion is you got to see everything in context and in perspective.
Right.
So, like I said, as we grow, we build this perspective. I mean, you got to say, where do I want to go with my life?
True. True.
20, like when you go to a company for an interview, well, I don't know if they ask that because nobody's working for a company 20 years anymore. It's
They are. In my team, they are like my manager, like who's director, who has been with this company for Capital One for 25 years.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
so you're
I have
in
a
a good
report. Like she is with the company for 22 years.
Okay,
So,
so one of the questions they will ask you when you sit down for a evaluation every year or for an interview, where do you see yourself from 5 years from now?
5 years from now.
What do you think? 10 years, So I'm learning that having a perspective of based on who I am, what my also there is as we grow older, we should do an inventory, my strength, my weakness. Work on my weakness, build up your strength.
Right.
So weakness will be always there,
Right. Right. Right.
but it will be more manageable.
Right.
It's not popping up its head and messing you up.
Right. Cool. So John, we will kind of
You got some strength, but some weakness, but if you're not addressing this, it may offset your strengths
right.
or it may never allow you to flourish.
Right.
So that then based on that you build a perspective of who I am, where I want to go, short-term goals, mid-term goals, long-term
Yep.
goals,
Yep.
and then we all die anyway.
That's
But
right.
my point is in that process, we are able to help and bless others.
Right.
That's my point.
Perfect. So, John, we'll try to wrap this up and we'll say like there are a few things which are not so serious. Let's say, what was your first car that you bought here?
I had a Buick Skylark, and I didn't know it was an 8-cylinder car, and it consumed a lot of gas.
But it looked nice, I guess.
Oh, it was nice.
And drives nice with a proper sound. Huh? Nice, nice. So you like that car? How long did you
It
have
had
that?
some problems, and I sold it to some dude who worked with me, a pharmacist from Bangladesh. I forgot his name.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And what after that, like normal car?
I had a Civic Honda.
For the
was
longest part of time, which car stayed with you?
Oh, 10 years is the period I keep a car.
Oh.
So I had Lexus, I had
Yeah,
Pathfinder.
Lexus, like I saw that, like it
RX 350.
350,
That was
yeah.
I had different cars, SUVs, minivans and stuff like that. Now I have Odyssey.
Yeah.
So
So you like to drive, like have you
not anymore.
but you used to drive through
I used
cross
to
country.
drive from New York to Houston. I did a lot of long distance driving.
Nice.
But-
And I guess that time in 75, I guess that's the time when they were building, America were building the roads and all the infrastructure.
Well, they already had. They built that in the late 50s.
Oh.
And it was more, in the 60s, it was more completed project. Of course, they always enhance it by doing
Right.
things.
And I guess in the 60s and 70s, the time when like Americans used to have their home and like government used to promote like
Yeah.
American dream kind of thing,
That's
you know,
right.
like car, home, children, you
Middle
go
class
together.
family.
Yep. So
middle class dream.
Right. So when you had your first home,
Oh, I had in 1981. My wife. I got married in 79 in India. My wife came in 80. So in 81, I had this 1,200 square feet house back in Houston, east side of Houston.
nice,
My 2 kids were born there too.
nice. So that's your American dream over there, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
But then I always say, people, I dreamed so small. If I had what I know now, I would have dreamed big. But that's okay.
But then from that,
So message is always dream big.
right. Think big. Yep. So from that small house, you must have gone to different big houses.
Yeah, then I went to another, that was a 1,200. Then I went to a 2,700 square feet brand new house in northwest part of Houston. I lived there like 13 years.
Nice.
Then I said, I'm ready to live big. And I bought a 4,400 square feet house, kind of like custom house. I I had a lot of.
My goodness, 4,400 square feet. And what was the lot size, the whole?
It was like less than half an acre, but
My
it's a corner lot,
goodness.
very big, a lot of oak tree.
Driveway and everything?
Oh yeah, I had a car patio, car porch, 3-car garage. I had a big courtyard where I put my basketball hoop. I
My
played.
good. Well, like Michael Jordan, 23.
So I lived my dream. 16 years. I paid it off. Then I said, I'm done with this.
And
It's too
then,
much money going down the train. My kids got married there. Allowed them, like in Indian culture, my girls didn't go off on their own, and I had to find guys for them. So in that
nice.
ritualistic process, everybody come and look at her. At least I'm hoping they will say this dude got a nice house, so let me marry his girl. No, they didn't marry for that, but I'm from India, man.
You had that thought, come on, it's gonna impress somehow, right? Good one, John. Awesome. So once they're married up, you said, now I don't need this house.
We're too old, and then my wife retired, and I said, call it quits. So I want something different. And plus, Houston has a lot of weather problems,
Okay.
freezing and hurricanes. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to deal with all this.
Nice.
So it turned out, everything worked out fine. My daughter is downtown here. So we said, let's go to Austin.
Austin, yeah.
But I ended up here.
Nice.
So pretty happy.
Nice.
Pretty happy guy.
Nice. So you mostly lived in Texas, huh? Most of the part.
20 out of 48, 47, I lived in Texas.
Just 1 year, I guess, New York, you mentioned
New
earlier.
York. Yeah, it's 46 in Houston, now almost a year in Pflugerville. So it's my 48 years.
Awesome. Awesome. Nice. Nice, John. It was really, really nice talking to you, and we'll do few more parts, and because, I really, think that we would learn a lot with your philosophical and counseling part, and we're going to talk about Mosleys and Freud a lot more. That'll enlighten us for sure.
Yeah, because one of the things that now that I realize I worked in business, a human perspective is always important for us to connect, to find out who we are, where we want to go, and allow us to form realistic goals based on our strengths. As I said, work on our strength, build it up.
Right.
So that human perspective allow me to be kind of happy. I had to work on a lot of my issues.
Right.
It took me quite a few years. Still, it's a process. It's like, you don't know about addiction. Addiction is an alcoholic is always an alcoholic, even if he could drink it. In America, they are called, I'm an alcoholic. But you're working on it.
Got it.
So I'm one of these persons working on what I am, who I am.
No, that's I guess that's the gist of life. You keep on working on yourself because you are not perfect.
I cannot change you, but I can change me.
Right. And you keep on working on yourself because like nobody is there right yet. So you are striving for the excellence, and you will keep on doing that. Don't let the fire stop. Keep on burning it. Have
That's
your
right.
passion, and keep the world a better place.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.